and welcome to this week's episode of My PP Does Not Define Me, where we focus less on this and more on the ability of what we can do. Join us each and every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, live on the Disability Global Broadcast, Facebook Live, and LetGoRadio.net. Looking forward to seeing you there. What's up, everybody? It's D to the J with a roll away, and it is Wednesday, February 7th, 2024. Yeah, just remember to write down on your rent checks when you pay for them. Hey, Kayla, how are you? All right. Hi, Kayla. So today we're going to do a show on self-reflection. Now, this is going to branch off a little bit into three main sections, okay? The first section, we're going to talk about what is self-reflection. Well, to me, self-reflection, there's different types. It's a reflection on yourself and how you're doing and where you are mentally, physically, spiritually. You can go through all that. But self-reflection, I believe, takes a look at your life in general. Where are you life-wise? Now, that's a question that goes, that's a loaded question. I don't really know where I'm at life-wise because I'm still trying to get there. I understand that. But the thing is, you have to look at what is around you when you are making positive track and when you're making negative track. So here's the thing. I look at myself as a positive thinker most of the time, okay? I'm one of those individuals that I don't let things get in my way unless it's really stressful. And, money and bills and, are we going to put food on the table? Are we going to eat this month? Those are the kind of stressful things I'm going to, oh God, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? Where am I going to go? How am I going to? And my brain is like Speedy Gonzales on the little wheel, have you figured it out? Have you figured it out? Have you figured it out? And it keeps doing that. Hey, Thomas, how are you? You go through these individual thoughts, okay? Now, not everybody thinks the same way I do. And different things impact different weight. But all of that, even in a stressful situation, you've got to look at self-reflection. You've got to look at, what am I going to do to make this happen? Okay, how am I going to solve this issue? Now, I've said for years that I've done this show, I'm a fixer. I've always been a fixer. I see a problem, I look at where it is, I look at what's going on, and I'm like, all right, what do we got to do to solve this problem? Where do we got to go? How do we get, what's step one? But a lot of people want to jump to step 4,722 before they look at step one. Okay. Now, I was talking to a friend the other day about going camping, and I'm a survivalist. I've watched every survival show out there. I've, taken classes. I've read books. I know, I've never studied. I'm not into botany, the study of plants or anything like that. But once in a while, I just want to go off grid. Now, to me, self-reflection is definitely going off grid. I want to hunt my own food, make my own campfire, put up my own tent, fish, wake up in the morning when I wake up. I want to make my own fire, cook my own food, that kind of thing. There's a moment there that makes me happy to be a man. When I'm cutting up my own fish and skinning it and doing what I need to do. What's up, Louie? It's one of those things where people are less primitive because, back in the day, the Native Americans, they were hunters and they were gatherers and they were traders. Now, you look at the Native Americans and they were very self-reflective. And the reason I say this is because they didn't take more than they needed. One bison would last them months. A moose would last Native Americans months. They would use the whole animal, the hide, the bone, the brain, the heart, the liver, everything. Because it was nutritious and they knew how to work things. Now, on top of that, there were basket weavers, the females gathered the vegetables in the garden and made their own flour and bread and this, that, and the other. And then the male Indians would go on the hunt and come bring back food and fish, but they never over exonerated what they needed. I believe in people to a point. I believe in people to a point. It is in life, if you take more than what you need, it's going to come back to bite you in the butt. And you may not realize it now. You may be going, I'm going to get what I need. I'm going to survive. Look, survival is important, but self-reflection, baby, enough. Self-reflection is more important than that.
That's true.
Because when you look at yourself and how you survive, it makes it more. Now, I said before, I'm more of a positive energy type person. I try very hard not to let negative stuff in my life, but it does happen. Okay, sometimes the seal breaks. Sometimes I get angry. Sometimes something happens to where that negative will slide in there. And it's one of those things where it gets annoying because negative energy is the fastest thing to sap you down in this world. If you have negative energy toward people and they do the same thing over and over and over, I'm going to help you out. I'm going to help you out. I'm going to help you out. And they don't help you out. Okay. And they say this is a gift. Look, let me explain what a gift is. A gift is giving something to somebody where you don't expect anything back for what you're doing. That is what a gift is. If I got somebody telling me 500 times, I'm going to do this for you, I'm going to do this for you, I am going to take your word for it, okay? But the 10th or 11th time you tell me, I'm going to shut you off because I've heard enough. And this is a good comment right here. I like this. Elizabeth Patrick says this. You shouldn't let the negative stuff bother you if you can't change it. Don't be mad. You only have the power to change so much. But you also have the power to whether you let the negative stuff in or not. Mm-hmm. And that's where my struggle comes in because I want to give somebody the benefit of the doubt. I want to give somebody the trust factor. I want somebody to see, hey, okay, all right, until you screw me over, we're good. Until you mess me up, we're good. Once you lie to me or once you screw me over in some way, shape, or form, and you have a negative impact on me or my family or those around me, you're going to be scarred, and I'm not going to trust you the way I did before. I don't care what you did, what you do, or what you say you're going to do to fix it. She also says, I only depend on myself as I am the only reliable person in my life. I love that to a point of I depend on God a lot, but the only person you can truly depend on is yourself. And I do agree with that 100%. All right, so before we go too far here, I agree with Kayla too. You have the right to feel how you want to feel, but don't stay in the situation that you're in. Okay? If you have somebody that is impacting your life negatively, cut it.
Exactly.
Cut it. And that's hard to do because I believe in people. Okay? I believe in myself and I believe in the impact that I do and this show and the people that come on. But if you screw me over, okay, if you're the type of person that tells me, I'm going to do something, or this is going to be for you, or we're going to do this for you. And we look forward to that, and then it doesn't happen, and it doesn't happen, and it doesn't happen. And the excuses keep coming. No, you're done. Okay. Now, some people will give people chance after chance after chance. Me, no, I'm the three strike. You three strikes, you out. Then after you're done, I'll beat your ass with a baseball bat. I don't care. Three, because I'm not a violent dude, but I get to a certain point. How many times are you going to do this? How many times are we going to hear the same story? And it be, and
I agree with Kayla. It depends on the situation because yes, nobody is perfect.
No, nobody is perfect, and everybody has the right to be upset because you got to go through what you got to go through to get there. And you know what? He is the person, and this is what I like about Elizabeth too. I've known her a long time. I always depend on God as He is. He knows what will happen. I look at the situation, and we all I would say sometimes you gotta, bro. And look, we all have those moments where enough is enough. Okay. And I like this. I like this comment right here. Depending on the situation, nobody's perfect. We got to look at ourselves as we are. We got to come as we are and do what we can do. Okay. Everybody has limitations, whether we want to admit that we have them or not. Now, here's the thing. To this comment right here, I'm not going to unless you get me to that point where enough is enough. Okay. I'm the type of person, I'll give you the shirt off my back. But when you interfere with my fiance, you interfere with my family, our finances, we depend on something, and then you fudge it up by saying, I'm gonna do, 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 and then I'm gonna do. And what I'm gonna do is solve the situation by busting you in the mouth, and you're gonna shut it. Because I've had enough.
100%.
Now, this right here, this is a true comment. Everything does happen for a reason, and I do believe that people are put into your life for a season. Take out your frustrations on zombies in Arizona. So, you know,
You can't take it out on the dead. They're already dead.
I like that. I like not taking your frustrations out on people. But if you know the person that's causing the problem, sometimes you got to take your shot. Okay, you may not agree with it, you may not like it, but sometimes enough is enough. I put the gloves on, we get in the middle of the ring, and we solve the issue. Okay, what I'm not gonna do is be somebody's little errand boy, and they keep saying, "Man, I told you I was gonna help you out. I just need a little bit of time. I just need a little bit of time. I just need a little bit of time." You better take the time you got and figure out what you're going to do.
Patience is a virtue, but I ran out of that a long time ago with this situation.
And it's not even when you have good-hearted people telling you, "Look, watch out for this. This is a bad thing. Get away from it," and you don't listen to it. That's on you. You know, screw me once, shame on you. Screw me twice, shame on me. If I'm gonna fall for the same thing over and over and over again, I've gotta re-reflect my life. I gotta self-reflect what's going on. Who are the people in my life that's doing this? Okay, now this one here again. Everybody's entitled to their opinion. I don't believe that everything happens for a reason. Example: cancer, car accident, COVID, malpractice. All right, so let me touch on that for a minute. I've always heard what doesn't kill you
makes you stronger.
Makes you stronger. Okay. I'm gonna say this to a point like we talked about earlier. God knows everything that's gonna happen before it happens. I'm not trying to preach to nobody, and I'm not trying to step on toes. Okay. Cancer is a bad deal. Malpractice is a bad deal. Things like that are a bad deal, but they do happen as part of something. And the reason I'm saying that is because look at the people that survive it. Okay? The breast cancer survivors, the leukemia survivors, the cancer survivors that come out of it, and they're totally different because now they no longer take life for granted.
Mm-hmm.
They look at a blade of grass as a precious something, not just a commodity that's on the ground. Okay? So I don't want to say, that cancer happens for a reason, but I will say karma
Is it?
will come back around and bite you in the butt.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Big time.
You do things to people over and over and over. You keep doing things to people over and over and over. Karma will come back and bite you in the butt. All right, now, this right here. Life is short. Those who matter will be there. That right there is the number one statement. Winnie Wilson says this all the time. The people that are supposed to be here at the time they're there, they are. Okay? It is in that moment. I've said this before. I used to be worried about numbers on this show. Right now, I could care less about numbers on this show. I am more worried about the people who are here, the people that I'm impacting, the people that are sharing the story, the people that are going through, putting it in their groups. And I believe that that is impactful because when one person gets something out of this, when one person, we started out with 8 viewers, okay? When one person gets something out of those 8, and I do something to where I've helped somebody out, some way, some form, some shape, I've done my job. I was so focused on the numbers being 1,000, 2,000, 5,000, 10,000 that I wasn't really worried about the 8 that were there. I like the way of looking at this, and I want to say this. Maybe those things prevented you from something worse.
That could be true.
That is a good thing, a good way to look at it, and I wouldn't wish anything worse on anybody, but I think that there's a point to that.
And what's going on, the person deserved it.
Yes, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger, but what about reoccurring cancer, etc.? Look, here's the thing. Life happens to people in ways we're not going to understand, okay? The bottom line is we were put on this earth for a short time. We don't know how much time we have, and we're in the ring the entire time. Now, you think about it. We're in the ring fighting a fight the entire time. Sometimes the fight is light. Sometimes the fight is heavy. Sometimes the opponent turns around and we punch them in the back of the neck and they go down. But then there's another one, and there's another one, and there's another one. And you can only fight for so long because your body gets tired. Cancer is one of these things that just, it doesn't care who it affects, whether it's a child, an adult, an elderly person, a middle-aged person, someone with a disability, someone with no arms, someone blind. Cancer hits like one of those punches, like a punch in the gut that you weren't ready for.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I love the way this is a positive thinker. It means that you are meant to fight a bigger battle. Okay.
Correct.
As we said just a second ago, you're constantly in the ring fighting little battles. Pop, 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 pop. Okay. In life, if you don't learn to rest and back up a little bit and slow down and rest your body and listen to your body, the fight's not going to last as long as it could. If you don't train yourself, if you don't listen to yourself, and I'm talking about inside, not just outside.
I'm guilty of that.
I think a lot of people are, Kim, especially when they have cerebral palsy or spina bifida or a disability, because they're go-getters. They want to push. They want to push hard, and they want to show that they can because their whole life They've been proving people wrong. But the problem is, you don't have anything to prove. And I've said that before.
Mm-hmm.
You need to stop worrying about what people think and start worrying about what you think.
Mm-hmm.
This right here is powerful. God answers prayers. It may not be the way you want the prayer to be answered, but if you ask God to relieve someone from their pain and they pass away, he answered your prayers. The person you prayed for relief is no longer in pain. Again, death is a part of life. We're born, we live, and we die. Okay? We try to make the best impression that we can. And it's one of those things where it's a choice. Okay? I agree with what Elizabeth said. I I look at my grandmother, my grandfather, watching them in the last years of their life, they started suffering. When it was done, I was glad it was done. It is hard. And again, that's where the emotion hits and we get sad, we get, mad, we get upset. And we're allowed to feel that way, but you can't stay in that moment. Now, I've known Elizabeth since she was 18. I have a genetic disorder that develops tumors on nerve endings. Now, you talking about pain? That's a never-ending pain because they don't go away. Even when you take them off, if you can take them off, the phantom nerve pain is there, and it really, sometimes you fight a battle and somebody will ask, why is this person got to go through this? They were chosen. And you look at life and say, look, I'm glad I have CP. Okay? I'm going to be honest here for a minute. I used to be so mad at God when I was 12 and 13 years old. Why do I have CP? Why can't I be normal? Why did you make me this way? Why did you do this to me? Why? I want answers. Tell me. When I realized what he did for me and that he allowed it to happen, I have the ability to bridge gaps between people. Okay? Whether it's racism, whether it's anger, whether it's he said, she said, whether it's I don't understand what's going on, whether it's I don't know how to deal with this, I have a chance because I have a disability to people to see things through my eyes and to take a second and look and say to themselves, if he can do this, maybe I can do it too. Now, that's the way I look at it. Maybe that's not the right way to look at it. I don't know. But that's the way I've looked at it my whole life. Someone has always told me I'm a great leader. I'm a great this. I'm a great that. I don't see it. When you don't see it, you're doing it right. I'm not worried about titles. I'm not worried about possessions. I'm not worried about what that's doing. Okay? This right here, never get angry at the things that you cannot change. It won't change anything. I have said so many times, don't worry about what you can't control. And I agree with that. When people focus on what they're available to change or what they're able to control, it will make their lives better. Instead of focusing on the things you cannot change, worry about what you can control. I'm proud of who I am. I am not neurofibromist. I am not either like me, love me for who I am. Either go away and let me teach you, let me teach you, or let me teach you to be a better person.
I feel the same way, Chris.
I've been told that, and I appreciate that. That makes me feel great. But I must be doing something right in order to get that right there. See, and that's what I'm saying. when you're humbled, okay, and it's not I'm an inspiration. I'm 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 this, I'm that. When I start looking at it that way, I don't want to get a big head about it.
See, my sister says the same thing.
And people, and I again,
Thank you, sis.
I appreciate that, but it's not. I am doing it to inspire other people. If that inspires me, great. You know, I have the ability to push other people in the direction, but it's not about the direction I see them going. Because once the nudge happens, you got to walk your own path however you get there. Okay. And we're going back to self reflection again. If you look at somebody trying to help you with something as a negative impact, it's not going to work because you're not going to. Here's the thing: when somebody starts off a statement like this, you always or you never. Let me explain something. No one does that. Nobody always or nevers. Okay, because something has to change in the life for it to spark. Okay. And a person that says you always or never is in a loop. They've been a loop. They've been in. It's also about how you carry yourself. I have external tumors all over. Most people I meet, they are either they're being nice or genuine, or to tell me they don't see the tumor. Tell me they don't see the tumors. When I first met you, I knew about it, but it didn't bother me because I'm not worried about the abnormality. I'm not worried about what I see that's supposedly different. As long as we can deal with the situation, I was fine. That's why it never bothered me. And we've been friends all these years. They didn't notice them until I said something. And a little knowledge, a little knowledge goes a long way. You know, that's one of the things that people when they look at self-reflection, okay, and they see something and they go, oh, well, I should do this. Okay. Then they get 30 other people from another direction. No, don't do that. Don't do that. You shouldn't do that. Sometimes you gotta listen. Sometimes you gotta listen to yourself. Okay. You gotta listen to yourself because your body knows what it needs. Okay. When it's time to shut up, sit down, and sleep, shut up, sit down, and sleep. Everybody pushes so hard until you go and you go and you go and you go and you go.
And you crash.
And you crash. Or you get a medical sickness, or you get an illness, or you get ulcers. Then you get this, then you get that. You don't go to the doctors like you should, and you end up with cancer and you wonder why. Some people push so hard and are so, I know everything, you can't tell me nothing. Love my mom. Love my mom. She's coming up to see me in a couple of days. But my mom, I'm fine. I'm fine. That classic, I'm fine. If you don't take your line out, I'm fine. Go to the doctor. I will carry you on my shoulder down Victory Boulevard with twist ties. I don't care. Sometimes you got to intervene. Now, old people are stubborn. This one over here is stubborn.
I'm not old, though.
I didn't say that. I'm stubborn to a point. I'm stubborn. I don't think I'm stubborn to the listening point. I'm stubborn when I stand on a situation where I stand on a situation. That's my. I don't want to see anybody hurt, and when they get hurt, I go, hello, I tried to tell you. And they're like, I know, but I just wanted to give them the benefit of the doubt. The person had this happen to him, and this happened to him, and this happened to him. So what?
there's difference between stubborn and good-hearted
Well, good-hearted is one thing,
or
but
thick-skulled.
no, thick skull stubborn. You take it as it is, and say it as it is. It's stubborn, and it's not a bad kind of stubborn. It's one that you just go, I just want to just sometimes just go, would you please listen to me and stop listening to everybody else? And their first words out of their mouth is, I do listen to you. I said, well, you ain't listening now. And you bounce back and forth, but you feel bad for people because you're compassionate and you go, I don't want to see this happen to them. I don't want to see it happen, but damn it, when you spend your life lying to people and being negative to people and telling people stuff over and over and over, you're going to get punished. And whether you see the punishment or not.
God should strike them with lightning.
I ain't going to say all that. Let me move.
Let
me move real quick because I've done some stuff too. And I'm sure there's some lightning strikes in my future. But look, here's the thing. I'm not going to sit there and.
No, but you're not deceitful either.
That's the word right there. That's the word I was looking for, is deceitful. When a person is deceitful and they know it, All they do is be deceitful, but they're trying to cover it with good things because they make you want to believe them.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Chris said this, when I did your show, I think we learned a lot about each other. Every time I watch your show, I even learn more every time. And that's the benefit of it right there. That's the gold of it. If you can take something from it and go, okay, can I apply this to my life? Am I self-reflecting enough? Now, self-reflection, I ain't talking about think about it for a second and move on. No, I'm talking about deep self-reflection. What is going on in my life to make me so mad all the time? Why do I feel like my underwear is bunching up and I'm not even wearing any? Okay, one of those things. You get in that situation and you're like, what is going on? Why am I so bitter? Why am I so bitter?
She's right.
That's my mistake right there.
That's so true, says she.
That's my mistake. It's too big because I want to believe in people, but sometimes what your eyes tell you, your heart makes you forget. And that's why I love my people in my inner circle when they tap me on my shoulder and go, DJ, you better watch what's going on here. And sometimes I don't even see it. I'm like, oh, shit. Did they just?
Or.
I mean, and it's one of those things where someone that's much older and that has been through it, okay, I thank God every day for the Wilson family. I really do, because that's my second mom, and she always has been, but it's not just the second mom that I say she is. When she's around and every time she comes by, she asks me certain questions and I have to go, oh damn, I have to think about that one. Because I really don't, it's a question you can't answer just like that. You can't pop that bad boy up and be like, I don't know what I'm going to do. Okay? So now, when you self-reflect, let's move forward a little bit. And you make a decision to cut somebody out of your life because they have been negative, not just one time, not just two times, but more and more and more, and caused you to think differently of yourself. Cut it. And when you cut it, you got to totally cut it. I don't mean block them on social media. I mean block their number. I block their Instagram, block their X, block their Messenger, whatever it is, Facebook. Look, people put too much stuff on Facebook now.
Mhm.
People are so worried about Facebook. Some people put shit on Facebook and don't talk to people. That's what's wrong with this country now. Nobody writes letters anymore. Nobody picks up a pen and paper and writes letters because we all got cell phones. It's easier to text somebody. I can just tell them what I want.
That's true.
Do you know how valuable a letter is? I use my cell phone to talk to me. I don't text a lot. I'm not a texter.
I am.
I'll text every once in a while, but I would rather talk to you than text you. Because I don't want to read all that crap. Call me. You got something to say to me? Call me. Well, did you get my text? Did you get my email? Do you know how to pick up a phone? My buddy Steve does that to me all the time. I emailed you. I told him, look, I am not an email person. Don't email me. Call me. You got something you want to say to me? Come over and say it to my face. I love Steve to death, but Steve is my boy. One of the best musicians in the world. But he is an emailing fool. But he's an emailing fool because he works. And that's how he primarily communicates through work. So how he primarily communicates through work. And that's true. That's true right there. I'll admit that. I know where you're going with that. I'm sorry. Phone works both ways. It does. It does. That's on me. I'll take that. But I think that people think texting is easier and quicker.
It is.
Okay. And it may be. But I think it is more meaningful to hear someone's voice when they speak. People are so biased. I've blocked 3 people with CP within the past few years. You know, sometimes, yes, ma'am. Oh my, right there, that is the key. That's why I don't text. That is why I talk, because I don't want no damn misinterpretation. Oh my Lord, well, you said that's not what I meant. I love that. You can put as many exclamation points and periods and smiley faces and little tongue speaking emojis and all that. I love that. You cannot read emotions through text, in text. I can't. Okay. Now, in your case, you told me that you have a board that speaks for you, correct? Okay. So you're able to translate out what you want to say. You might not be able to write a letter, but you can physically translate out what you want to say and have it typed or printed for you. You can still write a letter that way and it come out in printed form. It's still a letter. Can I text you?
Yes, bro, you can. Anytime.
And some some new folks are on the show, and it's nice to have new people,
Family.
coming. And I appreciate that, But I want to also be the person to say, I think it is more meaningful to have someone speak to you and say I love you, or say I miss you, or say I wish you were here, from their voice and not from text. Now, if you are unable, if you're nonverbal and you're not able to do it, you have to work with what you got. I understand. You got to make it work. I technology opens my world. Though I understand the emotional part, I can't imagine it different. I look at life, and especially with Kayla. Now, I'm going to say this, okay? And I don't mean to offend anybody. Kayla has a beautiful voice.
Yes, she does.
I have heard her speak, and I did not know she could speak. I was under the impression that she was completely nonverbal. And she said something to me, and I said something to her, and she was like, thank you. I'm like, what the? She kind of, threw me a curveball I weren't ready for. I'm like, I didn't know you actually could speak. But like, I had, and here's the thing about self reflection. When it comes to someone that has trouble speaking, now listen to me because this is important. You have to take the time to listen. Let them finish. Please don't make them repeat themselves because it is hard for them to get the sounds and words out. Okay. When they're done, you can ask them a specific question to shorten the verbalization so they don't have to work as hard. But I think all right, Elizabeth Patrick. All right, sometimes this text is easier, but it depends on the topic and feelings of conversation. Uh, you have to know the person really well when texting to know their tone of voice. Yeah, I mean, if you know the person, and I still think I want to hear the voice than reading the text. I mean, I don't want to talk to you in the bathroom. Look, if I'm in the bathroom trying to don't call me. If I say I'll call you back, I'll call you back. And if I don't call you back, I'm sorry. The poop took longer than I thought it was gonna take. Okay, I'm just letting you know. Ain't nobody got to laugh at that. I'm just saying. All right, I'm usually really good at calling people back. My buddy Mike, we talk on the phone 2-3 times a week. You know, my buddy Mike is one of the people that I studied martial arts with. And to see some of the amazing things that he does with one arm, it blows my mind.
He's my sister got your point of view.
I remember when I first asked Mike to do something, and I asked him to do it without thinking. I'm like, Mike, can you move that box? And I went, shit, he's only got one arm. And Mike looked at me and went, really? And I'm like, oh crap, he heard me because I was thinking out loud, but I didn't realize I was speaking out loud. And this box was 3 times bigger than anything I had ever seen. This dude took his one arm and wrapped it around that bitch, put it up against his knee, picked it up, carried it 3 rooms on. I'm like, how in the world did he do that? You cannot
judge a book by its cover.
That right. You cannot judge people by what you think they can do. Okay. Phone calls are always easier, but if you're eating dinner and texting is easier, it's fine. And no, I don't want to. Yeah, okay, sure. Look, here's the thing. I really think phones should be turned off during dinner time. Honestly, I think too many families leave their technology on all the time, and it becomes an attachment. A couple times I've told Kim I feel like you're attached to your phone, and she says I know, but I don't want you to be attached to your technology. I want you to be attached to something you need to be attached to, because eventually technology is going to let you down.
Assume.
Let me, yeah. I love this right here. Your only disability is those that you put in your own head.
I like that.
Yeah. And when you assume, you can't have assume without being an ass.
Exactly.
Because you've got that part there that's just, why did I think that? I agree. Phones are going to be the downfall of all of us.
Mm-hmm.
I
100%.
you know I believe the more easier the world makes technology, I believe the more that people are going to eat it up.
That's you, me.
That's between you and me. Yeah, and with assume, yeah, and I.
But isn't the person that making the judgment the real act, not the person that you're asking to do it?
It depends because you've got to look at how it comes out. Okay, I made the assumption that Mike couldn't pick up the box. I was not trying to assume that he could not pick up the box. I was thinking that he had, because he had one arm,
Mm-hmm.
he couldn't do it. I was
Right.
automatically looking at that, going, "That man can't live." Holy crap, he just did that.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's where my brain goes, "Duh! You wouldn't want somebody doing that about you. Don't do it about him." And I'm like, "Whoops." Yeah. Yeah. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, it, everybody does it. You know,
Mm-hmm.
you and you know, I'm gonna tell you, Mike is strong.
Mm-hmm.
I, we sparred the first time we sparred. I don't know if I told this story on air or not. We were in the dojo, and you know, we were going at each other, and we were going at each other like, you know, we normally do. And the whole dojo just stopped. Like, people are looking like, are they mad at each other? Is there a race thing going on here? Is he trying to kill him? What? And pretty soon the instructors came over, and then they stopped because they realized we ain't worried about disability. He hit me in the eye, I hit him in the nose, a little blood came out, and it was one of those things. We had fun with it, you know. I'll see you out in the parking lot. Okay, that's fine. Move your car. Let's go. And you know, we took it up a notch, you know. But it's, you know, it's a choice. You know, if I didn't have Mike in my life, my life wouldn't be as completed as it is now. If I didn't have Steve in my life wouldn't be as complete as it is now. Same thing with Rick. I mean, I have friends, and here's the thing. You know, Kim and I were talking about this as self reflection too. You know, they're your friends, not mine. Let me explain something. When you are in my life, my friends that are my friends will accept you, not because they accepted me. They have to see who you are. Until they tell you they don't like you, don't assume they don't like you. Don't assume they're not your friends. Don't think that because I met them first, they don't care about you. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
I want this right here. Sometimes we have to be careful, though, accusing someone of doing, not texting or communicating the way you would at the risk of being an ableist. Just be kind either way. Yeah, but see, there was an earlier part to that conversation that I don't know if you were here for, so you might want to go back and just take a look at that too. I think people use their phones too much when they could just talk. I think people, you know, have an easier way because they don't want to say it out loud and they can text it and it's easier. Just because if something is easier doesn't make it right.
Correct.
Okay. And that's kind of where I want to go with that. So listen, I'm going to go ahead and wrap things up for right now. I know I usually go, you know, the full hour, but I'm going to get out of these shoes, and I've had a busy day. We went grocery shopping. I do want to do a couple of updates real quick. Um, I have a karate tournament on March 3rd. Let me, if we can grab the flyer.
Yeah.
I want to let everybody know where
Okay.
that's going to be. Um,
No, March 2nd.
I'm sorry, it is March 2nd. Saturday, March 2nd, 2024, the King Neptune Classic Open Martial Arts Championship. It is located at Cape Henry Collegiate School, and that is at 1320 Mill Dam Road, Virginia Beach, Virginia 23454. And I will let you guys know this is going to be a big, big tournament. So if you are going to get there early. It does start, I believe, at 10 o'clock. So registration begins at 9. I'm going to double check that. And let me see. You can actually contact Mark Myers for more information on that. And it's omava5000@gmail.com. And you will be able to contact him there. And you can also reach him for more information with the flyer, which has his number on it. They will have men's grand, women's grand for a $500 prize there. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. And they'll also have weapons and forms empty hand. So if you guys can come out, please, please, please come out and support. It'll be for first through fourth in all divisions. And it's going to be a great tournament. So again, March 2nd, that is a Saturday. Come out if you can. I believe the spectator fee is $10. And you can come out and have a wonderful time in support. So guys, I hope to see you. And we will have a wonderful show next Wednesday. My mom will be here, so maybe she will say hi to everybody. She's going to be with me for the next 2 weeks, coming in on the 10th, which is Saturday. So we're excited about that. Thank you, everybody, for being here, for comments and questions. If you'd like to be a guest on the show, please do me a favor. Email me at carterdj85@gmail.com. When you email me, please include a short 3 to 5 sentence bio about yourself. And that doesn't guarantee that you're going to be on the show, because what I need to do is set up an interview on a Sunday to go over your story and then set up a scheduled Wednesday for the show if I decide to have you on. So all of those in favor, please be sure to do that. I always say, if you can't be good, be bad, but be good at it. This is D to the J with a roll away, saying we'll see you next Wednesday for another exciting episode of My CP Does Not Define Me.
Good night.
All right, everybody. That's going to do it for this week's episode of My CP Does Not Define Me. As always, you can catch us every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, live on the Disability Global Broadcast, Facebook Live, and on www.letgoradio.net. Also, if you haven't already checked out our YouTube channel, My CP Does Not Define Me, where we post all of our show's episodes in our My CP playlist. As always, I'm your host, D to the J with the roll away. You can't be good, be bad, but be good at it. We'll see you next week.